Hello and welcome back to my video series around mental health awareness. Today's topic is anxiety. And just a bit of disclaimer, we might get a bit of interference from this little one, but he's sleeping, so he shouldn't be too much of an interference. But look at that face. Yeah? Sleepy face. Okay, I'm back to sleep. Yeah. So, what is anxiety? Anxiety is one of the most distressing emotions that people feel. It's sometimes called fear or nervousness, and is an emotion that everyone experiences from time to time. It can be difficult to overcome without learning what it is and without learning how to cope with it. If your anxiety symptoms persist and significantly interferes with your day-to-day life, it is important to seek professional help for this. What is anxiety? So, anxiety is described as a number of issues such as phobias, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and generalized anxiety. And it describes brief periods of nervousness or fear experienced when faced with difficult life experiences. There are 4 categories of symptoms that a person faces with anxiety. And the first category is cognitive symptoms, which is all what we feel up here. So, symptoms that we may feel not that. Overestimation of danger, underestimation of our ability to cope, our underestimation of help available, and worries and catastrophic thoughts. And so what happens is with our brain, when we go through times of anxiety, is our prefrontal cortex and our right side of the brain, it shuts down. And the amygdala, which is 2 little components in your brain, they flare up. And it goes into anxiety mode, trauma, crisis, stresses, all that kind of stuff. And so you're not able to think rationally about situations and stuff. And so what we need to do is to reactivate the rational part of our brains and stuff to be able to be like, okay, I can get through this. This is how to cope with it and stuff. We have behavioral changes that happen, so we may avoid situations where anxiety may occur. Leave situations where anxiety begins to occur, and trying to do things perfectly or try to control events that prevent danger. So, things could be like, public speaking. Say you've got to go to you got a presentation to do, and you've been preparing for the past couple of weeks to do it and stuff. You have all your information, your cue cards, your presentation, everything, and then it's the day of the actual presentation, and all you could think about is, what if I fail? What if I stuff up? And that doesn't help you, and that's where the catastrophizing thoughts come into it. So you're you go to the event, and you may think like everyone is here and stuff, and I'm starting to feel things, and it's like I can't do this, and so your anxiety takes over, and you end up feeling the need to leave. So instead of going through your presentation and stuff like that, you end up avoiding the situation altogether. So that is a behavioral thing and a cognitive thing that happens with anxiety. Emotional symptoms that happen with anxiety include, but are not limited to, nervousness, irritability, anxiousness, and feeling panicky. As I said, these are limited symptoms. There are a lot more that a person can feel. And then you've got your physical symptoms like sweaty palms, muscle tension, flushed cheeks, lightheadedness, dizziness, racing heart, all that kind of stuff. So what happens with this is when all the physical, behavioral, and thinking changes we experience when we're anxious, they are all part of the anxiety responses called fights, flights, and freeze. And these responses can be adaptive when we face danger. Unfortunately, we can also experience these reactions when danger isn't present, or the danger isn't as bad as we thought it would be. Or it could just be when we are too anxious, and infused with good coping. So now that we've got all the information out about, like, what it is and the symptoms and stuff, let's talk about how you can overcome anxiety. And this is my I'm really condensing it today because I've tried recording this I don't know how many times and it's failed, so it's not as good as I want it to be. But so what we can do to overcome anxiety is, one thing is cognitive restructuring. So this includes evaluating anxious thoughts in order to be more quickly and accurately evaluate the danger and its consequences. So you will find that that the anxiety decreases when you examine the evidence and discover that the danger that you face isn't as bad as you thought. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about it? 0 being, it's nothing, and 10 being, it's extremely out of my control. And so if it's on the low end of the scale, then great. And you can look at the consequences and stuff of going through your what makes you feel anxious and stuff, and you might have a good result with it. If it's on the high end of the spectrum, though, like, you really need to consider really breaking it down to get through the anxiety, or it may not be your day to worry about whatever's happening today, and you might have to call it off. But you need to go through the evidence of, like, for and against the danger that you feel that's happening in your mind and stuff. So something that I love to do is relaxation. So when I'm feeling really anxious, for example, I find that relaxation can help. Mindfulness, it's something that I recommend to a lot of people. So it can be physical or mental relaxation, or it can be both. And so when we are physically relaxed, mental relaxation follows. The great thing about it is that it can alleviate anxiety because it is hard for the body or mind to be simultaneously relaxed and anxious. So things that I recommend is Google search Frantic World Mindfulness Meditation, and it guides you through 5-minute clips around focusing on your breathing and the sensations in your body. And if intrusive thoughts come in, it's like, just it's like, okay, acknowledge that's there, let it go, and come back to the present moment. Other things are mental health apps through Reach Out, Black Dog Institute and stuff that really focus on like, what are your stresses and stuff. You can spend about 20 minutes on it and then just move on with your day and stuff like that. It monitors the amount of times that you think about something, and then, like, how to get help and all that kind of stuff, which is really, really great. Overcoming avoidance is another thing. So by avoiding, we are not reducing our anxiety, but we are increasing it for future situations that we are intentionally avoiding. So for the time being, while we're intentionally avoiding it now, it may seem like physically like things are a lot better because you don't have to put yourself out there, but you might still be thinking about it, and you might end up avoiding and avoiding and avoiding. And long term, that it creates issues. And so what we need to look at is breaking that down and overcoming the avoidance that we've been doing. So small steps, just like when I spoke about managing depression in the previous video, it's like, you know, doing small things for yourself. So that's the same thing with anxiety. They both come hand in hand. So it could be looking at like, you know, writing down a daily list of things and ticking it off. And if you can get a little bit closer each day, great. And if, you know, we do stumble, we go backwards and stuff, and then we have really, really good days. So, but it's a matter of like, it's about retraining your brain and stuff, and like doing a little bit more for yourself each time to be able to push yourself a little bit further. But don't push yourself too much into the deep end, because you will find yourself spiraling backwards and getting into frantic anxiety and stuff, and that's what we're not aiming for. Other things, medication, which is a controversial one, as it can be addictive and interfere with you autonomously using coping strategies due to the calming effect of the medication. So this is something that I don't have a lot of input around, because myself, I am on PRNs, so it's for a needs basis only, and I've only taken it once while being prescribed it, so it's not really something that I can suggest any input with, because I try to use other coping strategies before getting to that point. But if you feel that medication could be alright for you, then talk to a healthcare professional about it. Yeah. Other things that I recommend is grounding techniques. I think they're amazing. So they include things like using your senses and naming things around you and stuff to allow you to know where you are in the present moment and that you are safe. So I like the one in particular, and I think I've already used this in my depression video, I'm not sure. So naming 5 things that you can hear, 5 things you can see, and 5 things you can feel, and repeating the process until you just get down to 1 of each. And if that doesn't work for you, then you can do other things like soothing. So eating or drinking something that's soothing for you, that's not so stimulating, by the way, like maybe a herbal tea or something like that. Burning candles and incenses. Again, we're focusing on our senses. And also monitoring where our anxiety is at. So you could do daily, frequently throughout the day, on a scale of 1 to 10, how you feel with your anxiety. And like, you know, it's really good to take that to your mental health professional if you have one, or if not yet, when you get one, and be like, this is where my anxiety is at. Again, you can probably do that through mental health apps and stuff. I have a couple that I use, but not exactly for anxiety, but you can tailor these apps for certain issues. Or you could just physically write it down and do some journaling around it. CBT seems to be an approach that is used a lot with anxiety and depression and stuff. So if you go through Mood Tools, there's an app through Mood Tools, and it's for depression, but if you use the thought diary part of it, you can rate how you're feeling and the cognitive distortions, the outcome. You can journal, and it monitors your experiences and stuff, and yeah, you can take that into your professional, and it'll be like, you know, this is how I've been rating each time, so it's great. And finally, the last thing that I would talk about, which I think is important for each video, is how to get help. So supports around anxiety is getting in contact with a counsellor or a psychologist, your GP, for referrals and such, or whether you're talking about medication, but you're better off talking to a psychiatrist about medication than you are than talking to a GP about it, because your GP only has limited training around it, whether a psychiatrist has formal training and stuff, and then you can follow up with your GP about like scripts and stuff, and monitoring the process. But it's a better idea to keep in contact with a psychiatrist about that. Anyways, other places like Headspace, Beyond Blue, like helplines as such, that focus on depression and anxiety and stuff. Psychoeducation, CBT groups, and other online methods such as 7 Cups of Tea, which I am an online therapist with. So it's like I talk to clients about like how to manage anxiety and depression and stress and family issues and all that kind of stuff. So they have self-help sections and stuff on there. So it's a great way to go. And yeah, I feel that this wasn't my best video. Recovering from surgery and stuff, I'm a bit more drained and stuff, so I'm not using that as an excuse. But any feedback, comments and stuff in the comments below, like, do whatever. And topic for the next video, please. But yeah, I can put in, if you're interested, I can put in resources or links for getting support and stuff in the comments below. Just put in a request and I'll put them all up. And if you need a PM or something about like where to go, possible referrals and all that kind of stuff, hit me up. Or if you just want a general chat, cool. I hope that in some way that this video was helpful and it does educate you a bit more around anxiety. It wasn't the best to my ability, but I've done what I can. And yeah, let's help break the stigma around mental health. Cool. Until next time.